Hey everyone, welcome to Scope Recaps. In this video, I am going to recap the critically acclaimed film, The Big Sick. This heartfelt romantic comedy drama tells the real-life story of Kumail Nanjiani and Emily V. Gordon's relationship and the mysterious illness that lands Gordon in a coma. So, sit tight, relax and enjoy. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you. The movie begins with a stand-up comedy bit from the main character, Kumail Nanjiani, who talks about how his upbringing in Pakistan is similar to life in America, except for arranged marriages, playing cricket instead of baseball, and receiving old TV shows like Knight Rider at a time. He goes backstage with other comedians, Chris, Mary, and CJ, when they find out that a famous comedy agent, Bob Delavan, is in the audience. Despite trying to get a 10-minute set, Kumail is denied. During CJ's performance, Kumail sneaks a look at the crowd and sees Delavan enjoying it. When it's Kumail's turn to perform, he fails to impress Delavan but manages to get a woo-hoo from Emily, a member of the audience. Later, at a bar, Kumail and the other comedians discuss their performances, and he finds out that CJ has been offered a spot at the comedy festival in Montreal. He decides to bring up the topic of Emily's woohoo comment, which leads to flirting, and learns that she is studying psychology and plans on becoming a therapist. After that, he takes Emily back to his apartment, avoiding his roommate Chris, and they start watching a movie but end up making out. Afterwards, they share their high school experiences, and Kumail reveals that he was an awkward student who loved Hugh Grant, and Emily reveals that she had acne in high school. After spending the night together, Kumail drives Emily home, and they agree not to see each other again. The following day, Kumail has dinner with his parents, which turns out to be an arranged meeting with a Pakistani girl, but there is no attraction between them. Later, Kumail picks up Emily again and takes her back to his apartment, where they watch an old movie that Kumail is excited about, but Emily does not seem to like it, and they start kissing. Outside her apartment, they again agree to not continue their relationship, but Kumail immediately calls her as soon as she enters her building. Emily and Kumail meet again at the Triple Door Bar, where Kumail's friends CJ and Mary inform Emily about Kumail's one-man show. Later that night, Emily and her friend attend the show, and she meets Kumail backstage afterwards. She tells him that she enjoyed the show. At Kumail's apartment and early in the morning, Emily wakes up and tries to leave quietly. Kumail wakes up and asks what's going on. Emily initially tells him she's going out for a midnight coffee, but then reveals that she needs to use the bathroom and is uncomfortable using the one in Kumail's apartment due to its lack of air fresheners and proximity to his roommate Chris. Kumail and his brother Naveed are at a restaurant. Naveed points out Kumail's lack of cultural identity and urges him to grow a beard like their mother has suggested. When Naveed learns about Emily, he urges Kumail to break up with her and get a Pakistani girl. At a graduation party, Kumail and Emily are talking about wines, and Emily reveals that she's been married before. They both express that they feel overwhelmed by each other, though Emily thinks it's strange for Kumail to say that. The topic of meeting each other's parents comes up when Kumail and Emily are grocery shopping. Emily twists her ankle, and Kumail insistently offers to carry her. Back at Kumail's place, Emily discovers a cigar box full of photos of Pakistani girls, which causes an argument and ends with Emily leaving Kumail and telling him not to contact her again, because Kumail refuses to inform his parents about their relationship. Kumail is at his parents' home, having dinner with yet another Pakistani girl. Backstage at the bar, CJ encourages Kumail to pursue his career and participate in the Montreal Comedy Festival, otherwise, he may end up doing the same routine for years. Kumail tries to tell Sam about his repetitive material but backs out once Sam comes backstage. Kumail is back at another family dinner date, this time, with the girl impressing everyone with a magic trick. Back at his apartment, he adds her picture to the collection of all the other girls. Kumail is performing well with his stand-up, and Bob Delavan is in the audience, appearing to enjoy it. After the show, Bob informs both Kumail and Mary that they have made it to the finals of the festival. Kumail has seduced another woman, and she asks him if he wants to go somewhere. Kumail takes the woman back to his place, but later receives a call from Jessie, who tells him that Emily is in the hospital. She asks him to go and check on her. Kumail visits Emily in the hospital, and she assures him that she is fine. However, the doctor delivers the bad news that Emily needs to be put into a medically induced coma due to a severe lung infection. The doctor repeatedly asks Kumail if he is Emily's husband, as they need a family member to sign the papers, and he agrees. As they move Emily to the ICU, she wakes up, and the nurse tells Kumail that he should call her family. Kumail takes Emily's phone from her purse and uses her finger to unlock it. Kumail calls Emily's parents, returns to her room, and falls asleep. The next morning, he wakes up to find Emily's parents, Beth and Terry, in the room. They are all taken to another room, where multiple doctors explain Emily's condition. Afterwards, Terry tells Kumail that they will handle things from here, and he leaves. Backstage at the triple door, Kumail expresses his uncertainty about whether he should be at the hospital with Emily and her chances of survival. Kumail returns to the hospital and sees Emily's parents again. A cold Beth tells him to leave, saying he didn't want any commitments from her when she was awake, so there's no need to do it while she's unconscious. Despite this, Kumail stays and finds another seat as Beth throws her coat onto an open one beside her. At the cafeteria, Kumail and Terry have an awkward conversation, including a topic about 9/11. Soon, both Terry and Beth will be paged over the intercom. Terry invites Kumail to join them as they go to a doctor's office. There, they find out that the antibiotics aren't working and surgery needs to be performed. Kumail drives Emily's parents to her apartment, where they start arguing about who gave her a book they find before Beth starts researching. Kumail goes into Emily's room. Terry pops in moments later, asking Kumail if he wants to play any games. Kumail refuses, saying he has a gig to go to. Terry wants him and Beth to go, but Kumail tells them it's sold out. Kumail's family is with another Pakistani girl. They wait for Kumail, who does not show up. Instead, Kumail is standing at the triple door, watching Chris perform his act. Chris asks the audience questions. He finds Emily's parents and questions them. As soon as they inform him they are in Chicago because their daughter is in a coma, he turns to another audience member. Back at Kumail's home, his father pretends to have a phone call with Kumail and, after hanging up, tells the Pakistani girl he will be there shortly. The girl knows he is lying and tells them she can speak Urdu. Asmith starts singing to keep her from leaving, and the girl reluctantly joins in. Kumail is now on stage. Partway through his gig, a heckler yells out, "Go back to ISIS." This comment sets off Beth, who starts arguing with the heckler. Security catches her and drags her out, and Terry apologizes for the disturbance before stopping in front of the heckler to give him a piece of his mind. Kumail drives Beth and Terry back to Emily's place. Both men are impressed with what Beth did. Terry falls asleep, so Beth shows Kumail pictures of Emily. This leads to Beth telling Kumail how she and Terry met, saying her father hated him to the point he broke every dish in the house, but after a while, they grew to accept him. Kumail tells her of the arranged marriages in his culture. Kumail receives a list of missed calls and voicemails from his mom and old voicemails from Emily, which he listens to. Emily's surgery went well, and she is expected to wake up soon. Kumail has dinner with his family again, but instead of going through with an arranged marriage with a Pakistani girl, he admits he cannot do it. At the hospital, Terry delivers the bad news that Emily's condition has not improved and the infection has now spread to her kidneys. Terry and Beth argue about moving her to Northwestern, another hospital. Kumail leaves the hospital, buys a stuffed giraffe, and gives it to Emily. Kumail convinces Terry to spend the night at his place, where Terry confesses to cheating on Beth and gives Kumail some love advice. Kumail's parents confront him about not going through with the arranged marriage, and he confesses that he loves Emily, and his parents disown him. Kumail goes to the hospital and discovers that Terry and Beth have decided to move Emily to Northwestern. He is unable to stop them. Emily is awake, and Kumail enters her room. The doctor speaks with Emily's parents and tells them that it was Kumail mentioning Emily's injured ankle that helped them figure out what was wrong with her. Kumail and Emily have a short conversation, but she tells him to leave. Kumail speaks with Beth and expresses his disappointment that they may never see each other again. Beth responds, "I hope not." Kumail talks with Mary and CJ, who are planning to move to New York in a week and want Kumail to join them. A welcome home party is held for Emily at her apartment. Kumail and Emily talk in her bedroom, where Kumail reveals the contents of his bag of devotion, which includes all the hospital visitor passes, ticket stubs, and a jar of the ashes of all the pictures of the Pakistani girls. Emily tells Kumail that she can't remove him from his family. Kumail goes to his family's home unannounced and tells them he is not leaving the family, and that he is moving to New York to pursue stand-up comedy. Beth tells Emily it's time for them to go, against her wishes. Kumail performs a gig at the playground stage. Emily takes a stroll and ends up at the theater where Kumail is performing. Kumail and his brother Naveed are conversing when Naveed moves away and Kumail and Emily begin conversing. Emily declines Kumail's offer to call an Uber and instead chooses to walk. Kumail packs his belongings and bids Chris farewell. His father gives him a Tupperware container of his favorite food cooked by his mother and instructs him to text them when he arrives in New York. A few weeks later, Kumail is performing at Union Hall when he hears a loud woo from the audience. He looks up and sees Emily, and their conversation is similar to their first meeting. Emily informs him that she has traveled from Chicago to see someone, which is apparently Kumail. The two then exchange a loving and hopeful smile.